children, we are going into the last part of our lesson. So in yesterday's class, what did we see? We saw about the stars, isn't it? We knew many things about the stars. And we also saw that sun is a big star which is closest to the earth. And we also saw that there are many stars in the sky which are very far away, but they are more bigger than the sun also. Now, we always like to gaze into the sky, isn't it? How do you identify the stars? Can you distinguish one star from another? We cannot, isn't it? Because all of them look the same. So, there is a way to distinguish the stars. So, in olden times, the scientists using telescopes, they were looking into the sky and finding out about the stars. The most important person among them was, we all know it is Galileo, isn't it? So, like that many scientists were there, astronomers were there, star watchers were there. So, they were all looking into the sky and they wanted to distinguish between the stars. So, what did they do? They tried to understand it as a group. In your textbook, you have a picture given there, isn't it? You have a picture with 7 dots there. So, like the 7 dots are there. Like the 7 dots are there in your textbook, isn't it? And it is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Like this number is given. And what have they asked you to do? They have asked you to join the lines, isn't it? From 1 to 7. We have these type of games in the story books, isn't it? And most of you must have done. So what must we do? We must join these lines. Now, if we join this line, what did you get there? Something like this is also there, isn't it? What did we get there? What does this look like? Yes, it looks like a pan, or it looks like a spoon, a spadle, which you use to dip water, isn't it? To dip water or to dip something, we use a pan like this, isn't it? In the same way. So, we got this as a shape of a dipper, with which a vessel with which you can dip something. So, also, this is a group of stars which you can see in the sky. That is, each one dot which we put are 7 stars together. So, what did the astronomers do to identify the stars? They drew line like this joining different stars so that we could get a particular shape. So, this group of star, it looks like a dipper. So, it is called as the Big Dipper, or it is called as Saptarshis. Saptarshi. Okay. So, the astronomers joined these stars or dots together to make a particular shape. And we got this shape. So, the Westerners, that is the European countries, the people there in the Western world, they gave it a name as Big Dipper, meaning big spoon. And in India, we call them as Saptarshis, meaning 7 rishis. And you can see this group of stars in the northern sky in the summer season. That is from month of December and January. They are seen during the midnight in the northern sky. So, in the Westerners gave this group of stars the name called as Big Dipper, which is meaning big spoon, and the Indians gave the name as Saptarshis. Now, what is this? We know it is a group of stars. So when you join lines, we get shape. Such group of stars, when joining lines, that is imaginary lines, we join and we get a particular shape. Such type of group of stars are called as constellations. What are they called? Constellations. Understood? So what is a constellation? Constellations are group of stars imagined into shapes by joining them together using lines. So here also we joined them together. 7 stars, we joined them together to get a particular shape. This Saptarshi or Big Dipper is called as a constellation because it is a group of stars. So, constellations are group of stars imagined into shapes by joining them using lines. Okay, now like this, what have astronomers or scientists done? They have joined many group of stars like this. And we have many constellations in the sky. So now at present we have 88 constellations which are already recognized by the scientist. 88 constellations are there. Okay. So one of the famous constellation which is there in the sky, which we all know, is the Orion. It's the Orion. In Malayalam, we call it as Vetakaran. Have you seen this Orion in the sky? If you look nowadays, in this season, we can see it in the sky. It's like a man standing with a sword. So it is called as Orion, or the hunter. In Malayalam, it is called as Vetakaran. Okay. Now we learned the Tiruvadira star, isn't it? Where is the Tiruvadira? In that picture also you can see a red star is shining, isn't it? You can see the Tiruvadira star on the shoulder of the Orion. Okay. And also Orion is used by travelers to find the North Pole. So if you draw a line from the belt through the right shoulder, it will point to the North Pole. So travelers use this Orion. Earlier they were using this Orion to see the direction. Now there are other constellations also in our universe. Not only Orion and Big Dipper, there are other constellations also in our universe. One of them you can see in your textbook, Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is seen during the month of October to December. You can see Cassiopeia. So that you can see, just drawn 5 lines, isn't it? Below that you can see another constellation which is given there. What is that? It is in the shape of a scorpion, isn't it? So it is called as Scorpio. So each constellation is named after its shape by the Westerners. Now the same constellation is named by us also. So this Scorpio in Malayalam, we call it Vrishchikam. Have you heard this word Vrishchikam anywhere? Yes, isn't it? Where? It is the name of one of our Malayalam months. So now you would have understood our Malayalam months got its name from the different constellations. So I told you there are 88 constellations in our sky, and we can see 6 of them in one part of the year and the other 6 of them in the other part of the year. Okay, we can see all this in the sky if you are only able to see it. Most of the things we can see only during the month from January to March, May, because we know other times it is rainy season, so we will not be able to see the sky properly. Now, the Malayalam months got the names from the constellations. How did the Malayalam months get the name from the constellation? It is because out of the 88 constellations, 12 constellations lie in the path of the sun's rising and setting. It lies in the path of the sun's rising and setting. So, when the sun is rising and setting, whichever constellation is there in its background, that month was given the name of that constellation. So, which constellation lies in the background of the sun's rising and setting, that month is given the name of that constellation. Then after 1 month, again the next constellation will be in the background. So, the next month will get the next name. So, we know the different Malayalam months, isn't it? I don't know all the months, but we know it starts with Chingam. So, Chingam, Kanni, Tulam, Medam, Edavam, all these are different different Malayalam months. But these are different constellations which we have in the sky. So, you know that English months also, English stars, if you see, when we say if we are born in April, our star is Taurus, isn't it? So, that is also constellation. If you take the Malayalam month, you can get a picture, a symbol of that month. That symbol, and you take the English star symbol which month you were born, both of them will be same. Okay. So, this is all part of looking into horoscope, but it is not that. More than that, it is all science. It is connected with the stars in the sky. Okay. So, the more about that you will learn in the bigger classes. Now, on page number 111, you have something called as a star map. Can you see this picture here? Star map. What is this star map? This star map helps us to observe the different constellations and stars in the sky. Now, how can we observe the stars and the constellations in the sky using the star map? If you look at this map, here on top you can see the direction is given there. So, we all know the north, east, south and west of our home. Using the compass and using the magnet, having we found out the north of our home. So, how have you to use this star map? Keep the star map over your head, keeping the north in the north direction. So, here you can see the north and you know my north is this side. So, what should I do? I must keep it over the head like this, where the north faces the north. The north faces the north. So, when I keep it on top of my head, if I look up in the sky, here we can see the different constellations are given here. So, keep it straight over your head. The north facing the north, whichever direction, that should face that correct direction. And then look here. Here we can see Orion is marked and many constellations. So, keep your finger over that Orion. Okay. And then you remove this book out and look on top. You will find Orion there where your finger is pointing to. So, you have to use this star map to find out the different constellations which are in the sky. More than that, you can also use different applications to find out to see the different constellations. Here you can see a small video of our Stellarium software which is in our Ubuntu. We have to learn in IT about Stellarium. So, look at this Stellarium app. In this, teacher is showing you how to see the different constellations you can see here. Now, you don't have the Stellarium at home because if you have Ubuntu, you can see in your laptop. If you have Ubuntu, you can use the Stellarium to see the different constellations and star and moon and planets. Now, if you don't have, how can we do? We have different apps which helps us to see the stars in the sky, like the Night Sky Watch. Many other apps are there. So, from Play Store, download any app that will help us to see the different constellations and stars and moon and planets in the sky. Now, we know in our galaxy, okay, in our solar system, we have 8 planets. Earlier there were 9 planets, now we have 8 planets. Now, can we observe the planets? We know, isn't it? You have learnt in 5th standard also. Up till Saturn, you can see in the sky with our naked eyes. So, previous months we have seen Mars, Jupiter, All these we have seen in the sky. So we can observe these planets in the sky. How can you distinguish a planet between a star? The stars twinkle and the planets don't twinkle. Why do the planets don't twinkle? First, they don't have the light of their own and they are closer to the earth. So, the sun's reflection falls on the planet. We can see the planet with our naked eyes, few of them, but they do not twinkle. Now, every day we can see a planet early morning and in the early evening. Which is that planet? Yes, it is Venus and it is called as the evening star or the morning star. So that planet, please observe in the evening and the morning, one single star which shines bright in the sky in the evening as the sun is setting. You can see that that is Venus. Okay, so that planet you have to observe. Also, you have to start observing the moon from today onwards. See the different shapes of the moon. How many days it takes from a new moon to a full moon. Observe, draw and keep in your notebook and write your observation. So with that, we come to the end of this lesson. And please use this knowledge to observe the sky and understand how fascinating it is to watch the sky. Thank you, children.